Welcome to our new series, the 200 Movie Challenge. Our goal this year is to watch 200 movies that we haven't seen yet. If you want to listen to the full podcast where this clip is from, the link will be in the description. Now enjoy today's movie.
Well, Soto, I'm gonna kind of change the pace a little bit, and I'm gonna do
You
something
sure are.
that we've never done. Um, I'm in a weird way, gonna combine two movies into one review. It kind of makes sense, but obviously, I'm still ranking them separately. We're gonna release in one video because it's gonna make sense.
Mhm.
So again, I was on Tubi or whatnot and looking for a short movie, and the movie Wreck, or record, because it's basically the red dot symbol rec, popped up, and I looked at that and I'm like, I remember seeing Quarantine. I'm like, I don't know if I ever actually saw the Spanish foreign film, the original basically.
Mhm.
And I was like, and I've seen podcasts that talked about the two, so in a weird way I knew a lot about this movie, but I'm like, I haven't seen it. And then I kind of realized, I'm like, there's fucking four of them. I kind of knew there's a sequel, but I did not realize this went off into like whatever. So I'm like, all right, let me just see what the original one's like. I vaguely remember Quarantine a bit. I kind of just remember the premise. But I'm like, technically this is new. So I popped it in. Now, this movie came out in 2007. And as I said, I watch movies for the most part, foreign movies, with subtitles. I like trying to at least get the actors. I think more emotion comes out of them. Sometimes I will watch some things in dubbed if need be, especially if I'm watching something with my wife. But for the most part, I go subtitles, and I'm just kind of saying this. This came out in 2007, kind of when I feel like a lot of and I hate to use the word found footage, but that idea of like everything about this is basically behind the camera. And I say that because the movie Wreck, and I think the reason why I was kind of into this, or into Quarantine as well, is because it follows a news reporter, Angela. And she's kind of doing this. It's not live, but she's kind of putting together a piece. She's staying over at like a firehouse, a fire station. And basically, what do firemen do? And she's kind of creating the piece, and it's kind of a slow night. And she kind of even jokes, "I hope something a fire happens." Like, I don't hope a fire happens, but something. And she's doing interviews, and her and a cameraman are talking to everyone, blah, blah. So, yes, you kind of get to know the characters. And I will tell you this right now, Soto. Yeah, the actress, Angela, just definitely carries this movie. She has the presence. I'm like, this is good. I'm into this character. This is great. And then, again, going to what you. So, obviously, there's a call at an apartment building. A disturbance, and she gets excited, and her and the cameraman go, and basically they hear, yeah, there's this woman's been screaming, blah blah blah. We don't know what's going on, and they go in. Now this whole movie pretty much takes place in this apartment building. So I've said this countless times, Soto, in a lot of movies, I love a lot of simplicity. It takes place in one place.
You do.
Just give me the characters, give me the story, and give me a reason why. And what they find out is, as they're going up, she's following, a few of the firemen. This older woman. The best way I can explain it, Soto, is anyone that's seen 28 Days, 28 Weeks Later, stuff like that. You don't know what's going on, but it's like, she's, I don't want to say zombie because zombies are technically slow, but I would say something rage, and she's going crazy, and she starts attacking the firemen. Obviously, everyone's flipping out. In the midst of this, what they don't realize is the whole outside, they've been put on quarantine. Police and everything outside have sealed off the buildings, basically even telling them, hey, do not go near the windows. You try to escape, we will shoot you. So you're like, oh shit. So now this whole movie basically comes, how do they survive? Will they get out? And basically, because kind of like zombies, this is only passed through saliva, not airborne or anything like that. But you meet a lot of the people in the apartment building.
Rules.
Yeah, well, yeah, rules, because again, every zombie movie, every kind of, they kind of different rules and this and that, but basically they introduce that because they don't need to why they don't wear a mask, which that will become, we're going to talk about when I get to the second one. But anyhow, so yes, obviously now that more and more people get bit and things like that, the place gets more infested. They don't know what's going on. And back to something you said earlier, it's like, okay, you're trying to figure this out. You're feeling, you're in this with this character, because she, again, though there's a lot of side characters who you see are memorable, but she carries this film. And what I like about it, it's not like she's a kick-ass. She's not like an Ellen Ripley, a Sarah Connor. She's scared. She, for lack of better terms, a damsel in distress, but she doesn't need help. She just like, what the fuck can we do? Record everything. This does follow those tropes that we've seen in a lot of these movies.
Yes.
But she, you don't know what's going on, and so obviously people get killed one by one, blah blah blah, until it's just like her and the cameraman, and they're in some room, and he has the night vision on the cameras, and they basically are like in like the penthouse where supposedly like the original zombie thing was, like someone was keeping her up there, but they don't know why. But they can't, the zombie thing can't see them, but through night vision. And like a better terms, the cameraman dies, and Angela gets pulled away in the dark, and that's the end of the movie. You're like, oh shit. So you kind of like, so this movie was very intense. Some of these kills, there was jump scares in this that got me. Like, damn, because again, you're in a calm moment, and that's when they hit you with like some random death that's off screen or something that's right off to the side that you don't see coming, and that's when it's done right. It's not for the sake of jump scares, because again, they're an apartment building, and so you think about stairs, like, and there's like almost that gap in the middle, so it's like when the shit has already kind of starting to hit the fan, they're all on the bottom floor. They can't escape the front door. Like they're all at the front door. Like, you just gotta just stay inside until we figure things out. You can't come out here, blah, blah, blah. We gotta, and as they're all discussing what to do, and they're just talking to each other, they don't want to go upstairs. One of the firemen who was with that woman just all of a sudden falls flat, blood everywhere. And you just don't see it coming. And I love that because, again, jump scares. And so this is my type of movie. I was in it. I liked it. It wasn't, the only cheesy part was, sometimes I'm like, dude, put down the fucking camera and either help. Like, I understand what it's trying to do, but in my mind, if like, again, me and you were in that situation, it's just like, no, now's the time to fucking drop the camera. I don't need to record anything, bitch. I need to live too. But for the most part, like I said, it wasn't like, they weren't doing it, making it. I go to Blair Witch a lot, like, oh, it looked bad. It was kind of well shot, very dark, but I was in it. So yeah, I liked it so much so that I actually made it. Well, I say so much so, but I ranked this at, I think, number 26. It's right above kind of Bad Words. Ooh. And this is kind of like a tough thing. It was just a well-told story for this, because you're trying to figure it out. Obviously you're like, okay, no one survived, that's just the way things end, blah blah blah. And then I'm like, well, fuck it, I'm gonna watch Rec 2. Now Rec 2 takes place literally right after the first one. This came out in 2009.
Oh, good.
So it follows a SWAT team who's going into the building now, like almost like an hour later after this. So you're following the SWAT team. Now, for some reason, one of the SWAT members has a big hunk camera, and they're telling them, we need to record everything. But the cool thing is their helmets, I mean, again, the rules, they have like these small cameras on them. So you almost, that's how they kind of go to different shots. And they're going in with the doctor who is going to maintain this infection. Hard part about this, Soto, it's two things. One, there is no real introduction to any of these characters. Now, I say Angela, she carried that film. We kind of got to know her a little bit as she was interviewing the firehouse. Again, great. She was a great actress, and it's hard for, even though there's a lot of other side characters, it was like, okay, I did not care about a single, I couldn't even tell you one of their fucking names. And the guy who's the doctor, it was like, he was such a dick. Like, well, I really hope he fucking dies because, he's being an asshole because, which I'll get to. So I'm like, so already I am not interested in any character. I'm like, I'm going in. This is where Rec 2 loses me, Soto. So they get in there, and obviously, now it's a little bit more calmer. You kind of see, and I'm kind of glad I watched it back because I'm like, oh yeah, that's where this woman was handcuffed and she died, so they really recreated that. Again, it all takes place in this apartment building. You come to find out this doctor is there because he wants the blood sample. We find out that he's not totally a doctor, he's also a priest. I guess this thing has anything to do with zombies. It's demonic. So there's this whole religious aspect to it, but he wants the blood because what they found out is, like, if he can get the blood, he knows how they can create the antidote. But he's also the only one who can let the SWAT team out. They will not, because they get basically quarantined in. And he's like, unless till we get this, none of you are leaving. So when they find out, they can't. They're pissed because they can't even leave, and this guy has lied to them. But yeah, so obviously now it becomes this whole religious thing, and now that somehow the head, whatever you want to call it, demon, anyone that they repossessed or basically been in, he can talk through. I'm like, what the fuck's going on? There's kids.
It's a virus.
It was that was the thing with the first one. It was just some virus made. Again, I go to 28 days later.
At least realistic.
20 weeks, yeah, and like, okay, survive the day, get out. And then, yeah, somehow a group of kids actually snuck into the building because there was a way through the sewer system. They were trying to follow. There was actually a dad of like a husband and father of like someone from the first movie who was out getting medicine. So they actually bring his character in this one. He's trying to, like, a fireman's trying to sneak him because they don't exactly know what's going on yet. And so these kids are, so I'm like, why? More useless characters. Again, no one I know, but yeah, Demon can talk through anyone that's infected. And is looking at the praise basis saying, yeah, you're not going to get me, blah, blah. I'm like, I don't fucking care. So yeah, they go to the penthouse where the woman, that zombie that they saw in the first film, in the final scene, is basically like Project X, or the original, whatever you want to call it. And turns out that Angela from the first film actually survived. Because all you really saw in the first film is she got dragged away, which you assumed she died. But somehow she's they find her, she's holding onto the camera, she's still. And the good thing is, like, again, she's not turning into Sarah Connor and Ella Ripley. She's still scared out of her mind, clutching like the camera, like she, basically she's been hiding this whole time. And I love that because, again, they're not making, she doesn't need that character arc. Like, she can all of a sudden be a badass and kill things, So yeah, but like I said, I mean, I was happy to see the Angela character, but it was kind of very close to the final third and the final act. And the movie just made me so sad. The first film did. I was just like, oh, because again, all the other characters, the SWAT teams, as they're dying, I'm like, well, I don't care. Why? Who is he? And like I said, turns out they show the final, and I'm gonna just spoil this. Not like you're gonna see Rec 2.
Right at.
But basically, you find out that Angela technically is possessed. Like the demon got her, but instead of like killing her, she spit out this weird fucking worm into her mouth that went into her. Like, it was actually kind of gross. I will admit that. And then kind of got her and possessed her. So the end scene is her on top of the doctor after you see that scene, and she's like, the doctor's like, I'm not gonna let you out. And she's like, you realize I don't need you anymore. Kills him, gets on the thing, and it's like, in his voice, because again, she can mimic any voice that she kills and stuff like that. It's just like, I got the sample, I'm ready to get, one woman coming out, they're like, are you leaving? Her as him, like, no, I got bit, I'm staying behind, just let the woman out. And that's how it kind of ends. So I don't know how that leads into Rec 3 and 4. I really don't care at this point. I'm like, why do we have to go all religious? Yes, there is 4 total. I don't know. Again, maybe I'll go down the rabbit hole. I was just like, because I love the first one. And I've said this, movies like, and I know you're not a fan of Saw, but things that take place in one little area. I've said this about the movie Circle, which we kind of brought up a couple times. Elevator, Devil, there's just things. And yes, I know a lot of people can't handle it. A movie called Unknown. I don't know if you ever saw that. Not the one with Liam Neeson. There is an Unknown. I would say definitely that's a great Greg Kinnear, Jim Caviezel, Joe Pantoliano, just like great cast. But that takes place in one warehouse. Basically, a bunch of guys wake up with no memory of who they are, how they got there. Couple are handcuffed, and some aren't. Like, what the fuck happened? That was like I said, if you find that, see that. So I will suggest that to anyone. But this. I love the first. Well, I say love the first one, but the first one's good. It got my interest. It did what it needed to do. But yeah, second one, no memorable characters. Just changed the whole fucking story. And I was like, nope, I am out. So yeah, where I rank this is going even lower. Not as much lower as The Hunt, but a little bit lower. Because again, the kills were fun. Kind of like the first one. They obviously kind of budgeted it up a little bit, but the story wasn't there. It's 56. It's underneath the Funhouse. We're getting to the, kind of the really bad stuff. So I kind of put that low. Yeah. This might go lower. Again, I'm just looking at everything underneath it. I'm like, I just feel like they can't go above this, but you know how we
Yeah.
change. But yeah, no, I mean, first one, I would highly. I don't remember Quarantine. I mean, I'm sure. I think it's pretty well. I don't want to say shot for shot, but very similar. So, like I said, the first Quarantine probably is just as good as Wreck. But like I said, the actress I think holds. So if you like foreign films, check out the first one. Just pretend there's nothing else after that. And I'll leave that at that. Rec 2 is just garbage. It's like
I mean,
there's like six paranormal activities or something like that.
oh my God.
I saw the first
Yes.
four, and I don't know why.
You saw four of them? I mean, Wreck is, it looks like 90% on Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh,
So
it's good.
it looked like
Yeah.
it was a big hit.
Yeah, and like I said, I even think they Americanized it for Quarantine because it's pretty much the same movie. I just, again, I don't remember it, but again, it was well done. It has the independent film feel, which I like.
Mhm.
Small. I don't need a big budget movie. And yeah, you are in it, and like I said, the horror is there, and the jump scares are there. I know, I kind of knew, I'm like, well, a lot of these people are going to die, and then just shit would happen. Like, damn. So yeah, I would recommend Wreck to anyone, especially as long as you don't mind foreign films. I get some people don't, but I'm like, dub it. Just end it there. Do not continue. Now, knowing what I've done in some of the movies I've seen on Tubi, I don't know. 3 and 4 might happen just to happen and just be like, what? But hold on, so
God.
let me put it this way before we get to your final movie.
Sharkenstein.
Let me just tell you. Hold on a sec. So when movies get bad when they start so Rec 3 is called Rec 3 Genesis, and then Rec 4 is called
Oh,
Rec 4 Apocalypse. Um,
of course it is.
yeah, and oh wow, Angela returns. Of course she returns in Rec 4. I didn't see her quickly in the cast of Rec 3. So I don't know. Again, I know me, and I've watched bad movies. We've done this on the list. We've talked about some of
Sure
them.
have.
I don't ever
Yep.
plan on it, but there's other bad movies I want to see first, like the Popeyes and the Winnie the Poohs and shit like that. So yeah,
Oh God.